Breaking news. Beatrice and Eugenie in tears as Prince Andrew faces prison sentence, royal family confronts unthinkable moment. The atmosphere surrounding the royal family changed almost instantly. What began as another day of speculation and legal discussion suddenly transformed into a moment few royal watchers ever imagined they would witness. Cameras gathered outside court buildings, broadcasters interrupted regular programming, and headlines around the world carried the same urgent message: Prince Andrew's legal crisis had reached its most dramatic turning point yet. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the news was not simply another headline. It was deeply personal. Behind palace walls, the story unfolding before the public was not about titles or institutions, but about a father and two daughters facing a reality that once seemed impossible. Royal history is filled with scandals, controversies, and moments of public embarrassment. Yet imprisonment has always represented a line rarely crossed, a scenario so severe that it reshapes not only reputations but family dynamics forever. The possibility alone sent shockwaves through royal observers, raising questions about how the monarchy adapts when private tragedy becomes global spectacle. According to reports circulating among commentators and insiders, the sisters were said to be devastated by developments, struggling to process the magnitude of what the moment could mean. For much of their lives, Beatrice and Eugenie had worked carefully to balance royal identity with personal independence. They built careers, families, and charitable work separate from controversy, hoping to define themselves beyond royal headlines. Now, circumstances threatened to pull them back into a narrative they never chose. Inside royal circles, emotion is rarely visible. Tradition encourages composure, restraint, and silence. Public displays of grief or distress are uncommon, particularly during moments of crisis. Yet observers noted a noticeable shift in tone, a sense that this situation felt profoundly different from previous royal challenges. The sisters' bond with their father has always been described as close. Throughout earlier periods of scrutiny, they maintained quiet support while avoiding public confrontation. Their appearances often reflected loyalty tempered with caution, an effort to protect family ties without deepening controversy. But a prison sentence, even the discussion of one, introduces a new emotional reality. Royal commentators began asking difficult questions almost immediately. How does a royal family maintain stability when one of its members faces the full force of the justice system? How do daughters reconcile private love with public judgment? And perhaps most importantly, how does the monarchy itself respond when personal crisis threatens institutional image? For King Charles, the moment represents an extraordinary test of leadership. His reign has emphasized modernization and accountability, promoting a streamlined monarchy focused on service and public trust. Yet no strategic vision fully prepares a monarch for deeply personal family turmoil unfolding in front of a global audience. The royal household's response has remained measured, reflecting a long-standing principle: legal matters are addressed through official channels, while emotional responses remain private. Silence, in royal tradition, is often a form of stability. Outside palace gates, however, reactions were anything but quiet. Public opinion divided sharply. Some voices argued that equal accountability demonstrates the strength of democratic institutions, that even those born into privilege must face consequences like anyone else. Others expressed sympathy for the family members caught in the emotional crossfire, particularly Beatrice and Eugenie, whose lives have been shaped by circumstances beyond their control. Social media amplified every reaction. Messages of support, criticism, shock, and disbelief spread rapidly, turning a legal development into a global emotional event. Images of the sisters from past royal events resurfaced online, accompanied by commentary reflecting empathy for their position. For many observers, the most striking element was the human dimension of the story. Royal figures are often viewed through the lens of ceremony and symbolism, yet moments like this strip away distance. Suddenly, the narrative becomes relatable. Daughters confronting fear, uncertainty, and the possibility of separation from a parent. Psychologists note that public crises affecting families can produce layered grief for lost normality, lost identity, and uncertain futures. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the situation may carry all three simultaneously. Their royal status ensures that personal pain unfolds under constant observation, leaving little space for private processing. Meanwhile, questions about their future roles intensified. Would they retreat further from public life? Would they continue appearances to demonstrate resilience? Or would the emotional toll lead them toward a more private existence altogether? Royal historians point out that moments of crisis often redefine generational roles. Younger family members adapt, sometimes stepping away from tradition to protect personal well-being. The sisters' recent quieter public presence suggests that such a transition may already be underway. The monarchy itself faces broader implications. Institutions rooted in symbolism rely heavily on public confidence. Navigating scandal requires balancing compassion for individuals with responsibility toward national identity. Every decision, public statement, appearance, or silence, carries symbolic weight. As coverage continued, commentators emphasized how unprecedented the moment felt within modern royal memory. While controversy has touched the monarchy before, the idea of imprisonment represents a profound escalation, altering how history may remember this era. Yet amid analysis and speculation, one reality remains constant: behind every headline is a family confronting uncertainty. Reports describing the sisters' emotional reactions resonated widely because they reminded audiences that royal life does not shield individuals from fear or loss. Titles cannot prevent heartbreak, palaces cannot block emotional consequences. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the coming months may define a new chapter, one shaped not by royal expectation but by personal resilience. Supporting family while navigating global attention requires strength rarely visible to outsiders. Observers suggest that their response could ultimately influence public perception more than the crisis itself. Quiet dignity, continued charitable work, and measured appearances may allow them to reshape narrative over time, emphasizing individuality rather than association. As night fell on a day dominated by breaking headlines, the royal family entered unfamiliar territory. The certainty that once defined royal life seemed replaced by unpredictability. Tradition offered guidance, but not answers. History often remembers royal crises through symbolic images, moments when institutions confront vulnerability. This may become one of those moments, a turning point when personal tragedy and public accountability collided in full view of the world. And for two sisters at the center of it all, the story is no longer about monarchy alone. It is about family, loyalty, and the painful realization that some chapters of life cannot be controlled, only endured. Whether the future brings reconciliation, distance, or quiet healing remains unknown. But one thing is certain: this moment has changed the royal narrative forever, transforming a legal development into a deeply human story of uncertainty, resilience, and the enduring bond between daughters and their father.